All right, we're live. Welcome to episode 17 before the train wreck. Kickoff topic is women with many male friends, or as Sean calls it, women with a network.
How you doing, Rich?
Good, man. How you doing today?
Good. I'm looking out the window and it's snowing in Denver right now.
Oh, no kidding. We had snow on my drive back from the office. I have to go in on a weekly basis, and there was some snowflakes literally the size of golf balls coming down. It's like that time of year where they get blown up in the air and they kind of collect and they come back down heavy.
Yeah, throwing snowballs at you.
Yeah, we're waiting for summer to come at some point. I'm sure it'll be here. It's like at some point, late April, early May. It's like one day hits and it's 25 degrees and humid.
Yeah,
that's so
for sure.
Canada, the Canuck world. So let's kick it off with some talking points. You guys will see behind me, rather than me copy and paste in the call-in number, it's behind me over here. So you can queue up on Blog Talk, and we'll put you on the air. You can ask your question to hopefully vet a potential train wreck coming your way. I've also created this text to win contest. So I'm looking at this backwards. I'm going to try to do this while looking at the screen. If you text EIC to 40691, I'm trying to read it backwards on my screen. You'll get on a list, but you'll also get an opportunity to win an hour-long coaching session with me for free. Currently, my rate, and I'm doing dozens of calls now, so I had to bump it up to deal with that, is $1,100 an hour. So I'll do an hour-long coaching session for free. Text to win 40691 EIC, and you'll get on the list. I'll also give a consolidation prize towards the end of the contest. We're going to run it for the month of May. Maybe a discount code or something like that for my men's community, but we'll figure that out later. Sean, you had a talking point you wanted to hit from a comment you had on a video on your channel.
Yeah, a couple of comments. And this was a video I did on my channel back in October, and it was called How to Deal with a Passive Aggressive Girlfriend. And it was not my favorite video. There were a couple of things that I regret saying in there, but I do stand by my basic message, which is that when you're in a relationship with somebody and they're struggling to communicate, and you've chosen to bring this person into your life, then take a little bit of accountability for that relationship, a little responsibility, and do what you can to try to get things moving smoothly. So in this example, she's communicating in a passive aggressive manner. And we actually touched on this last week. My answer is, well, let's come at it with a little bit of empathy and say that, for starters, maybe that's all she knows how to do, right? Maybe that's what she was taught. And so you take the lead and you exercise a little bit of leadership here, and you show her what it is that you're looking for in communication. You show her what assertive, kind communication is, and you say, this is what I want in return. Now, if she doesn't rise to the occasion, then she's showing you how much she cares about you. And then you have a different question, like, do you stay in that relationship? Probably not. But let's start with some basic minimal competence in the relationship. So I got a couple of comments on this, and I should say that, 98% of the comments are thumbs up, 98 point something. And so it seems to be received well. And when I see negative comments, if it's name calling, I ignore it. If it's constructive, I try to take it into account. But there were a couple of comments in there that kind of got me fired up. One was, without watching this video, I can answer your question. Dump her, meaning that if she's passive aggressive, first sign of problems, you show her the eject button. Another one said, it's not a man's responsibility to be the woman's therapist. And I agree with that statement. In fact, in the Tactical Guide to Women, I went on at some length about how you are not her therapist, and that's going to backfire every single time. But in this video, I'm not talking about being her therapist. I'm talking about having some basic skills for coexisting with another human being. Now, you have this network that you live in, right? You have employers, you have friends, you have family, you have girlfriends, you have these people that you either inherited and you chose to hang on to them, or you chose to bring them into your life. So if you have chosen to have these people into your life, let's show a little bit of leadership. And if there's a problem in the relationship, even if you didn't cause it, take the lead and start solving the problem. When I hear something like, I can answer your question, just dump her, and I'm not your therapist, what I hear from that is that if she's having a bad day, she's having trouble communicating, she's having some kind of problem, she can fuck right off until she's ready to come back and serve me. And that's pathetic. I mean, look, this show is called Before the Train Wreck, right? So if you want your life to be a slow motion train wreck, if you want to just have this string of interpersonal failures that leaves you depressed and despondent and failing in life, this is the recipe. You just make yourself the precious little center of your own universe.
That was a rant.
That was a rant. I can keep going, but
Yeah.
I'll let you jump in here.
I don't get much of a rant out of you. I think this has been the first one in 17 episodes.
Well, yeah, what got me fired up is like these guys that made these comments. I don't care what they do. They can run their relationships any way they want. But I'm thinking about younger guys, guys like I was, like, ask me how I know about this. I know about this because this is how I used to do. I told you a couple weeks ago that I used to be kind of an asshole in my relationships, and you seem skeptical. But this is exactly the kind of stuff I used to do, where I would adopt this stance where I could write somebody off rather than taking care of that relationship because that was easier. And bonus, I get to walk away feeling like the victim. I get to walk away feeling like they mistreated me. That's how I know about this stuff. So when I think about young guys like me, seeing a message like this and thinking, well, I didn't have the greatest role models. I don't really know how to approach this stuff. This seems pretty alpha. I'm going to do this. It's horrible advice.
Awesome. We will jump right into the topic for today, which kind of opening discussion is women with many male friends. If you guys want to call in, the lines are open. I've got a couple of people in queue. It's 323-642-1618. And for ease of me not reading it out, it's there. So women with many male friends. I noticed somebody here in the comments as you were, audio is low. Let me just turn it up a little bit, see if this helps you guys add a little bit more. All right. Hopefully that fixes it. Audio's good now. Good. So somebody wrote here in the comments, where was it? The problem, I had an ex that had 7 male friends, didn't know much of it. Sorry, didn't think much of it. Later found out she slept with all of them. I was 19, didn't know any better at the time. So I'm not opposed to, men and women being friends, of course. But it brings some complications along the way. I had this coaching call with a guy earlier last week, and very successful in his 40s, divorced. Also, the girl he was dating divorced, very, very successful, do $500,000 a year in income. So very, very smart couple, but she was somehow baffled that it was inappropriate to be talking about what they did in the bedroom with guy friends of hers. And he came across this by way of CC text on a shared terminal that they were working on. So it raises the question, is it okay for your woman, your LTR, your wife or whatever, to surround herself with many male friends? What's your take on that, Sean? I'm curious. I want to throw it off to you first.
All right. Well, I'm still calming down from my little rant earlier. I would make a distinction between friends and associates. I came across this little study for this, about 20 years old, and it talks about how men and women form their networks. And this was using data that was kind of old. So the economy was slightly different. There were more women at home. And what they found is that women tend to have more family, kin, female relationships, and men tend to have more coworker, broad spectrum relationships. Okay, no surprise, right? That we separate ourselves out that way. And then what they found is that when women go into the workplace, that some of those differences disappear, but most of the gender-based differences remain, which is that women tend to have close kin relationships more than men. Men tend to have coworker relationships more than women. And so what I think about this is that women are, of course, are going to have male associates. Like my wife has a job, so she has lots of male associates that she's friendly with. But does she have a lot of male friends? No, she has a lot of female friends, and she has a lot of family friends. And that seems to be, according to what I'm reading, more the way women operate, whereas men tend to have more of the male friends. And so, I think that when women start, if a woman, a married woman, for example, starts adopting a lot of male friendships, and the difference between associate and friend being that you start talking more than what you associate on, you start talking about personal things. Like you and I, Rich, we're associates, right? But I think we're also friends because we'll go off the air and we'll talk about other things that are more personal. So that makes it more of a friendship. And so when a woman starts having these friendships with men, that's more of an intimate connection. And I don't know, I would ask questions about that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you should definitely ask questions. The thing that most women don't get, even very intelligent women don't seem to get, is the reason why these guys are talking to them for the most part is because they want to get into bed with them. That's the drive for most of these guys' interactions, if I'm being honest. I mean, if it's not work related, if it's not something to do with the women's sheet from HR department or what Steve's got to get going on over in the VP of sales team, if it's outside of that and there's regular conversations, dialogue, friendly chit chat, it often goes into a flirty place or a sexual place. And like many people have mentioned here in the chat, as I'm kind of scrolling up through it, dated a woman with only male friends, worst relationship ever. Women that have slept with potentially all, if not many, of these male friends. And I think it raises the question, why does she have these men orbiting around her while she claims to be in a monogamous or exclusive relationship with a man, and she's given them free attention, or she's seeking attention and validation from this group? And I'm suspect to being clear and defined on it, because I know that Sean will probably call me out on it. But I think that generally speaking, it's questionable when you have a woman that surrounds herself with men. It just doesn't make sense. Like, men like to do stuff. Like, masculine men like to do things, whereas feminized sort of guys or beta men might talk about stuff, or they might play the friend zone card. And at the same time, there's also that stat. I think it's something like 43 or 47% of women, they have a backup plan lined up, even if they're in a marriage. Like they've got guys lined up in case things don't work out, for the whole mate switching strategy. So is it a red flag? I would suggest yes, if there's ongoing dialogue, if there's ongoing communication, if they have like their little coffee dates or dinner dates, or they get together, like every quarter to do something that these guys do. It's a little bit offside, right? So that would be my take on it.
I'm not going to go ahead.
Sorry. I actually want to ask these guys in the chat. So is it a good idea for women to have a lot of male friends? Right. Yes. If it's a bad idea, type in no. That'll take a few seconds because there's a bit of a delay, but you're going to say something, Sean?
Yeah, I'm not going to call you out on any of that. And I'm glad that Steve got promoted from accounting to VP of sales. So good for Steve. But yeah, when it crosses that line from associate to more of an intimacy, then yeah, you got to ask questions about that. And in fact, I would expect my wife to ask questions of me if I had a lot of female friends that I was confiding with and going, walking the dog and having coffee dates and stuff. I would not expect her to be comfortable with that. And I have no desire to do it. I'd rather hang out with guys.
Yeah. Well, look at all the answers there in the chat. Dudes always want to smash. That's the thing that women are, I don't know if they're pretending to be oblivious to, or they are oblivious, or they're not oblivious to it, but the bizarre thing that always knocks my socks off is whenever I had the conversation, like, blah, 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 I've been talking to Steve in accounting, and, they've been texting back and forth, and you kind of look at her and you're like, you kind of give her like the eye to eye look, and you're like, he wants to bang you, right? And they're like, no, he doesn't. We're just friends.
Yes.
Yeah. You're either pretending, or you're a lot less brighter than I thought you were. I don't know which one it is, but that's my.
Well, I tend to give the benefit of the doubt there, because we've all seen that, where the woman is naive about the fact that somebody's interested in her, and I think it has to do with women when they're committed and they're happy. They tend not to be thinking of other guys generally as sex objects, like they were when they were on the prowl.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to hop into calls in a second. The call number... No, not yet.
Sorry, yeah, all the no's are popping up on my on my screen here.
Yeah, give them another 10 seconds. The guest call-in number is 323-642-1618. It's also on the whiteboard over my right shoulder. There's also a contest I'm running this month. I had this coaching client a couple months ago that has this mobile network. So it's a text-to-win program. So if you text EIC to 40, it's backwards on my screen, 40691, you'll get on a list with a chance to win a 1-hour coaching session with me. The draw will be random at the end of the month. I'll also give out a few consolidation prizes. So it'll probably be like a discount code to my men's community or something along that line. So, which actually brings me to the other thing that I want to mention too. Every single video that we've done now with Before the Train Wreck on the last 3 uploads has been demonetized by YouTube. I'm guessing it's the nature of the conversation. The stuff we're talking about probably flags it. I've had them do the manual reviews. That doesn't seem to fix the problem. They still remain demonetized. So as it stands right now, Sean and I are basically doing this like a free show. So if you guys like what we're doing and you want to support the creation of these pieces of content, there's a join button over by the subscribe button. I think earlier it was Mary Lee or Mary Lou. I can't remember her name. But when you join the membership, I think it's $4.99 a month, and it greens your name first of all, so your name pops a lot easier. But it also provides a little support. The other way to do it too is via super chat. So if you want to, throw a question out, super chat it. It pops on the screen, a lot easier for us to grab. We'll definitely go to it immediately and make sure we deal with any question you might pose as a super chat. So consider that if you've been enjoying the show. If not, at least smash the like button. Let YouTube know this is awesome. There's close to 400 people watching. We got 86 likes. Give that thumbs up a smash. It really helps us out a lot. Let's go to the calls. We got 214 on. We'll go to you first. And can you hear me okay, 214?
Hello there, Richard. I sure can.
Awesome. Can you just speak up a tiny bit for me?
How's that? Is that better?
A little bit better, yeah.
Okay. Well, how's that? I put it on speaker.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, so here's my hypothetical. So a woman that has a lot of male friends versus a woman that has all female friends. So in that context, I think I would prefer a woman that had all male friends for this reason. A lot of times women are more treacherous with each other. And I know a lot of times with the red pill knowledge, there's that discussion of women when they talk amongst themselves, they have a certain mentality, right? They're more emotional, and a lot of dysfunctional knowledge and viewpoints of men is shared when they have all female friends. And so I would rather err on the side of her having male friends, at least from the standpoint she's getting a male perspective on things. And yes, there is that possibility that she could be sleeping with them, but that would also make you a little more on your game. Because Rich, you always talk about, staying on your purpose. You're not going to get fat and lazy and comfortable knowing that, what is it? You call him Steve in accounting or Kevin in sales is your wife's best friend. So in one way, it kind of keeps you on your P's and Q's. Granted, it does raise red flags, but if she had all female friends, she's getting female perspectives on men versus if she had male friends, she's getting male perspectives just from that.
Yeah, that's another way to look at it. I don't agree with it though, because the point you're missing is all these guys that are blowing up her phone, her DMs, her text messages. They all want to get in bed with her. Like they don't want to hop in a book club and read the next big book popular title that's come out. Right. That's the only reason for them getting into their phone and exchanging numbers and chit chat. If it's not work related, that's what it boils down to at the end of the day.
But to your point though, this goes the opposite. If all of her friends are female and she's thinking of banging guys and she has all female friends, at least you know who the guys are. And so I know that doesn't stop the issue, but at least it's in your face and you can kind of confront it head on versus it being hidden if she's got all female friends. Yeah.
So what you're saying is if she's going to cheat on you, she's going to cheat on you with a guy that you've shaken hands with at the Christmas party, right? Like, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I know it doesn't make it any better. It doesn't make it any better, but I'm just saying, why are you so insecure? And remember, there are some women who are very outgoing and are in professions, I don't know, like bartenders or people that work at maitre d's at restaurants that are just outgoing personalities. They're very flirtatious, and maybe that's what even drew you to her. And you may be more introverted. She's more extroverted. There are flirty women out there that are not sleeping with all these guys. So I know there's the tendency to think that she is, but there's some women that enjoy that validation, and it may come back to issues they had with their childhood. But there are women who look like that validation that aren't screwing around on their husband.
Okay. They may not be, but they have the next guy or next three guys lined up for the event, should it be on the radar. And in the event that she travels...
His hand,
sorry, say again?
You've shaken his hand and you've had him over to dinner, and you know who he is.
Right. But like, here's the thing. I mean, if it's a work colleague and you're doing work related stuff, fine, whatever. But if there's constant conversations going on about, blah, blah, blah over nothing. I'll give you a really good example. When I was, I don't know, I was like 19 or 20. And one of my best friends at the time, we used to ride sport bikes a lot, right? So we'd get together, ride bikes, and then, do our thing. And during the week, I would usually go over to my girlfriend's house. We'd hang out. And one time I got off work early. So I headed over there like around 3:30 or 4 o'clock. And as I walked in the door, the phone rings. She answers it. It's my buddy Aaron. And I'm like, why is he calling you? And she goes, oh, he's been calling me for like the last 3 months, at this time every day, just say, hey, what's up after work? And we talk for 20 to 25 minutes. And I'm new, like I'm blue pilled as hell. Like I'm just looking at him like, he wants to bang you, right? Oh, no, it's not like that. It's not, no. It's like, sure enough, later on down the road, he's pulling out all the moves. So at the end of the day, it's a red flag in the sense that if you allow the behavior to continue, if you're in an LTR, and women like to propose monogamy and LTR relationships. They don't want you to fool around. They don't want you to cheat. But if they're still on the soccer pitch, optimizing their sexual strategy, keeping orbiters around her and talking about stuff that's not related or work related or anything like that, it's questionable. To me, it's a red flag, right? I mean, like you may feel comfortable with it from your perspective, but generally speaking, and most people in the comments right now are like, this guy's not seeing the whole picture, right? But generally speaking, in my view, it's a red flag, right?
I agree with the red flag. I guess what I'm saying is I don't mean go to the extreme. She's got 40, 20 male friends. I'm talking about a normal, we talked about it. I know the guy, he's cool. I'm not talking about she's got 7 or 8 guys that she's stringing along. And here's the other thing. Let the guys in the chat know this. A lot of it speaks to your own, I'm talking about a guy and talking about in general, your own insecurities. So what is it about her?
Let me ask you this question.
Friends
okay, so let me ask you this question.
So let me feel so insecure.
Got it. So let me just reframe it this way. So you're a guy, like, what are your hobbies?
I like golf. I work out, things like that.
Okay, so do you talk to your like random girls from work or friends of your girlfriend's friends about your personal best at the gym at the squat rack or what you shot on the golf course?
No, I don't.
So what are you talking about?
No, I don't.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can't. No, I don't. Talk to other females about sports like, and things like that. I don't.
So what do you talk to them about then? If you're not talking about shit that you like?
Well, I don't. I mean, it may be work-related things. Things were work-related, not personal things.
Right. But if you're not talking about stuff that you're interested in, then you're talking about them for what reason? Because they're a woman and they have the girl parts.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's true.
So there you go. I rest my case. Sean?
Yeah, I think if you want to approach people as individuals, maybe look at the fact that everybody has some different level of introversion versus extroversion, and so everybody's going to have some different distinction between friends and associates. And so, for one woman, maybe crossing that line from associate to friend involves like going on walks with dogs or going on a coffee date or doing something like that they wouldn't normally do with somebody that was just an associate. And so if you know what their set point is between associate and friend, and then you know what to watch for as they cross it. And honestly, I don't know. I'm trying to picture myself having some kind of intimate connection with a woman that isn't sexual. And I guess is why I don't have a lot of female friends. I mean, I have a couple of friends that came through my wife, right? Because, there are a couple of ladies that I talk to as friends, but they come through her. I would not have gone out and sought them out because I'm a guy and it's just not how I function.
Yeah. Like, to me, like, it sounds like you're trying to justify your masculinity and be like, well, I'm alpha and secure enough in my masculinity that I'm okay that, she's got dudes around. And in fact, I would prefer it because at least I would know what's up because I can keep an eye on things. And right. I get that approach and I get that angle. And that's one way to look at it. But, like on a balance of probabilities, if the sky's cloudy and you get the green clouds over there and there's high winds and it looks like lightning and tornado and really bad weather, it's probably going to come down at some point, right? Like that's basically what you're getting yourself into if you surround yourself, or if you have a woman in your life that surrounds herself with a lot of men. It's inevitable, right? Because
Right.
these men don't have any interest in talking about, you know, the new Corvette that's coming out, or are we going to the shooting range this Saturday and is Charlie coming along with Adam, or are we just going to go with like the two of us sort of thing? Those aren't the conversations that we're having with these women. I mean, the intent that men have with women is to get in their pants. It's really what it boils down to. I mean, there's nothing more than
Right.
that. It's that simple. That's just biology, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. Let me ask you this, but I've heard of instances where, let's say, the husband doesn't like opera, and his wife loves opera, and every time he goes with her to the opera, he falls asleep. And there's a male friend that he says, "Hey, look, go with Rich and Sean. You know, you guys knock yourselves out." I mean, I'm not saying they don't. You know, Rich isn't going to sleep with my wife. I'm just saying that's a harmless event, is all I'm saying.
Well, let's just use another name. Let's use Kevin from Sales, right? Because, you know, Rich is a much cooler name. So let's say, you know, Kevin from Sales is good with opera.
Kevin from Sales, you know, he's a horn dog.
Yeah, but is Kevin from Sales gay? Because if he's gay, then I'm cool with it. But if Kevin from Sales is the horn dog that's running the sales team, it's not appropriate.
Right.
Let me tell you why it's not appropriate. There was an experiment a couple years ago, or maybe it was less than that, where they took people that had no connection to each other. They just a man and a woman had no real connection, and they had them engage over these questions that were built around, you know, what you like and who you are, and it built this level of intimacy real quick. It was the kind of conversation that would come up when you do something like going to a coffee shop or going to the opera and so forth. So when you put yourself in that situation where you're going to be engaging over something with someone else, and, you know, a male-female relationship, and there's going to be a lot of discussion about, oh, I like that. Oh, I didn't like that. Oh, did you hear the soprano? Oh, did you hear this? Whatever they do at operas. I don't know what they do at operas, but you start connecting over these topics, and then you're replicating what they did in this experiment, which was they had people get to know each other, and people who were virtual strangers started to feel feelings of affection for each other very quickly. Like they started saying, yeah, I could picture myself with this person. And so creating that situation in real life is playing with fire. So if a woman's going to do that, and I hear you defending women that have lots of male friends, and that's fine. I'm not opposed to it. Women can have male friends. That's not what I'm saying, but she better have a strategy for when that friend decides that it's time to put the moves on her.
Right. I agree.
And
I'm not being naive. I agree 100%. I guess what I'm saying is it seems like women who have just female friends never get a male perspective. They get, and I think they've said a lot of times, women are the worst at giving advice on relationships.
Saying, but I mean, like, here's the thing, though,
if you're significant of,
hold on a sec. But here's the thing, though. Women will never get the male perspective. So using the argument that she surrounds herself with 3 guys that she's friends with, and you have a preference to that because you think that she would understand the male perspective or the male struggle, they will never understand the male struggle. And they don't even have any idea when you look at them in the eyes and like, you know, they want to bang you, right? And she's like, no, they don't. We're just friends. Right? Like they're just oblivious
right.
to the reality of this thing. So all you're doing is you're encouraging her to get closer to an opportunity that could lead to a potential train wreck. I mean, the show is about let's avoid a train wreck. And I think it's prudent that
right.
if guys are aware of these things, then they can at least, you know, adjust their sexual strategy accordingly. Because if I was dating a chick and she's like, yeah, let's be monogamous, we'll be together and be in an LTR, so blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I notice she's talking to a lot of dudes. Then my response would be like, okay, look, if that's what you're going to do, then that's cool. I'm going to get back on the ice and play too. And I'm just going to, you know, talk to the girls. Right. And that's generally not going to be cool with them. Right. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I mean, like the whole point of the red pill really is not for you to hate women or anything like that. It's just for you to not hate them for what they can never be. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to impose your belief system on the feminine, because you subscribe to the notion that this would be a good idea for these reasons, but they just don't get it, right?
You don't think she would pick up some little nuggets from, like, if she goes with her male friend out to coffee and he's complaining about me, like, oh, I can't understand why he...
Nope. The whole time he's just thinking, how do I get her pants off?
Yeah, okay. All right.
All right, man.
All right, thank you.
Cool, man. Thanks for the call. See ya.
All right. So, Rich, women if women are associating with men and hearing the male take on relationships, none of it's going to penetrate their skulls.
Listen, sometimes women will go asking men for their perspective on something they're dealing with in their relationship. But the whole time the guy's talking to her, he's thinking to himself, how do I get her pants off? Right? Or how do I feed her information that will maybe get her to leave the guy so I can get her pants off? I don't know. It's like some variation. Maybe I'm somewhat skeptical. Maybe I'm, more awake or less awake than others. Who knows? I mean, some people in the comments seem to be agreeing with me right now. But anyway. All right. You want to grab the next call?
Yeah.
Okay. So call in number again. It's 323-642-1618. Again, there's a text to win feature now up. So text EIC to 40691, and you'll get an opportunity to win a coaching session with me this month. Draws at the end of the month. There'll be some consolidation prizes, probably for a discount code to get in my men's community. Let's go to the calls here. We got 931 waiting up next. Let's see what he's got to say. All right, you're on. How you doing?
How's it going, Richard?
Doing good, man. So what can we do for you tonight?
Not much. Wanted to ask your opinion on this. So met this girl a couple months ago. I had some buddies come down to visit me in another state. She came with me, or she came with them. And I ended up moving back up into the same state. We've been seeing each other for a while. We started dating recently. So she has some male friends. She's in the medical profession. She's a nurse. But a lot of what you guys are talking about and a lot of the comments, I was thinking to myself how I agree that having a lot of male friends is definitely a red flag. But I was curious what you thought about how she engages them in relation to you. So she has a couple male friends, but she doesn't go out for girls' night out. She doesn't go out alone without me. If she's ever going out, she brings me. She just recently got invited to a birthday in Atlantic City, and wanted to ask me my thoughts on it. And it was around her birthday, and I said I had some stuff planned for her, and she said, okay, I won't go because I'm not going without you. So I'm just curious your thoughts about if she has male friends, but she defers to you in relation to going out with them without you. Or, what are your thoughts about that?
So these male friends, are they work associates?
Some of them she's known for a while. A lot of them are, she used to ride an ambulance. So a lot of them are former colleagues. Sometimes she still volunteers with them. Mm-hmm. So they're all, I would say, pretty much the majority of them are all former work colleagues.
Yeah. So it sounds like they're more associates than friends. And especially in the medical profession, people are going to go out in groups and blow off steam. That's part of what happens. But it sounds to me like she's prioritizing you, and that sounds like a good situation for you. What do you think, Rich?
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like she's in your frame because she's deferring to you when it comes to making choices. So that's a good sign, right?
Absolutely, I agree. And it was definitely sort of a bit of a mind fuck there. After learning all this stuff and seeing like, wow, she's actually, coming to me and being like, is it okay if I go out or, whatnot. I think in the time we've known each other, she's gone out maybe twice without me. And I know all the people she went out with. And the only reason I didn't go is because I was working or something like that. And it was after, a long day, they lost some people or, something like that. But I was just curious if, what you thought about that. So that's good.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a pretty good scenario. It doesn't seem like a red flag. I mean, if she's going out with a lot of male counterparts and blowing off steam usually includes drinking and other stuff. So, like the other stuff can be anything. So that would be a red flag if it's happening. But, generally speaking, if she's deferring to you to that sort of decision, that's a good sign, dude. It sounds like she's in your frame and she's complimenting your life. So that's good. I mean, you don't want needy, but at the same token, she's at least asking. And it's not like she's asking for permission. It's just out of courtesy, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, she, when we were talking about this Atlantic City thing, I made a joke and I was like, yeah, like I was thinking about letting you go. And she laughed at it. She's like, oh, letting me go. And, I know we're just having some fun banter there. She could go if she really wanted to, there'd be nothing stopping her, but she chooses not to go because she values, from what I could tell, she values my plans with her more than just going out and drinking and, having, a good time with whatever they were going to do. So.
Yep. That's just called respect. Yep. You're good, Bo.
Excellent. All right. Well, I appreciate it, man.
All right. Let you go. Thanks. Yes, call in 323-642-1618. The show is before the train wreck, trying to help you guys vet potential problems before a train wreck happens. So spidey senses are tingling. That little voice, says to you, "Hey, man, you sure you want to do this?" That's a good opportunity to call in and see what Sean and I have to say about it.
Got a question for you, Rich.
Yep.
Eric in the comments says girls' night out is a red flag. I don't know about that.
What do you think? No?
No, people got to go out with their buddies and blow off steam. I like to have guys' nights out, right?
Yeah.
Do you see it as a red flag?
I do in certain scenarios. So
at the strip club, yeah.
Well, yeah, like strip club, bachelorette parties,
yeah,
kinds of red flags can kind of tie into that. But here's where guys are not that attentive to the clues, and I want to hear if you push me back on this one too. So download a period tracking app, put it on your phone, and find out what's going on with her ovulation cycle. If she's putting on her little black dress and going out at the peak of her ovulation cycle, that's a red flag. If she's nagging you at the peak of her ovulation cycle, going out with her girlfriends, that's a big red flag. That's when she's meeting up with Steve from accounting and she's getting dressed up for something really important that night. What do you think?
I'm not going to push back because I don't know enough about ovulatory shift. I know that it is a very small effect and it pales in comparison to other variables, but that doesn't mean that a small variable can't make the difference. That one straw that breaks the camel's back. I'm just not educated enough on ovulatory shift to really speak on it.
So from an experience perspective, there was this girl that I was dating at one point, and she would go out pretty much twice a week. It was for many months straight, 3 or 4 months straight. And I didn't really care at the time. It was like, yeah, whatever, I'm going to do my thing, or I got things going on. And then at one point I'm like, okay, the spidey senses started to tingle. That little voice starts to whisper, "Hey man, you might want to check this one out, get a little, see what's happening." And weird things would happen. Like her phone would ring at like 2:00 in the morning. And it was some guy calling, for like a booty call. And then I started to connect the dots to see what was going on. So I think if it's like a once in a while thing, like they haven't gone out with, or gotten together at somebody's birthday party and it happens like every 3-4 months or so, whatever, no big deal. But if it's multiple times a week on a consistent basis, especially in a manner where she's nagging you or being disrespectful to you or poking at you at the time of her ovulatory shift, at the peak, and she's getting dressed up, looking all sexy. I mean, when women are at that point, they're looking for more masculine cues. They're seeking high testosterone cues. They change the vocal tone and pitch of their voice. They shake their hips a little bit more. Ornamentation goes up like tenfold, right? That's when all the makeup and the eyelashes and the right outfits go on and stuff like that. So that's when it becomes questionable. And that's when you need to just prep yourself and say, all right, something's going on here. I need to kind of like make arrangements in my head to deal with this going forward and what might potentially go down. Maybe you're not, her style anymore. It's, it's difficult to assess, but there's a number of things that could be going on that are definitely red flags.
So I've heard of these ovulatory shift changes when a woman is single and going out and advertising for a mate, because these are advertising signals. I'm not familiar with what happens when a woman is in a relationship. To what extent do these ovulatory shift behaviors increase? I don't know.
They're still consistent.
Okay.
Yeah, like there's no change. It's on the peak of the cycle, she should be with you that night. She should be anxious about seeing you that night and getting it on with you, not getting into her little tight black dress and going out with her girlfriends and coming home at 8:00 in the morning telling you she stayed at Stacy's house.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and there, as far as girls' nights out, there's a difference between girls' night out being a book club or a volleyball game versus going downtown, all primped and preening and looking good. Those are very different behaviors.
Oh yeah, you just have to watch what the uniform looks like.
Yeah,
like the volleyball uniform is very different from let's go to the salsa club uniform.
Yeah,
right.
The volleyball uniform can be okay.
Let's grab this caller over here, 210. You've been waiting for a bit. Let's throw you on. 210, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, Rich? So my question is, so whenever I first met my girlfriend, she pretty much stated that she didn't like me to have any kind of like female friends. And because kind of what she explained is that her previous relationship that she had before me, that the guy she was with had a lot of female friends, and I guess he ended up, kind of cheating on her. But kind of what I like about, my relationship is like, I had female friends before, but I really didn't have any intentions of like sleeping with them. It was more about like trying to like getting a female perspective and have them like try to pick up on the friends or something like that. But I mean, so like, is that a good thing? The fact that, she said like, okay, like no female friends, and she doesn't have any male friends either. So, is that, I know this sounds like a rare thing, but is that like a really good thing? Or
yeah, let me jump on this one, Rich, if I may. That this sounds like kind of controlling behavior, and the reason it may sound like I have a double standard here, but what she's asking you to do is to change your existing social circle, which I don't think anybody should be asking anybody to do. And this seems to be driven by anxiety. And the problem with that is that when anxiety starts to enter a relationship in one area, then it starts to take over. It's like a weed in your garden. So if her anxiety is starting to drive your behavior right at the outset of the relationship, well, that's only going to get worse. It's not an issue, as I see it, of your social circle. This is an issue of her anxiety. And that's the issue the two of you should be talking about, I think.
Yeah, if it's anxiety based, I completely co-sign that. It's I've seen that a few times before too.
And then like kind of like just just to kind of like the first caller, he's what he was saying about like as far as like having male friends and being insecure and things like that. I just don't think he maybe understands sometimes how female cheat, because don't they tend to like, okay, like let's say they have a problem with their current relationship or the current dude or whatever, they start to kind of like complain about like the about you to the other guy, and then because it may start off as something innocent at first and nothing too big, but it's like it starts off something simple, and then it kind of like grows into something like it plants a small seed. Does it kind of like work out like that?
Yeah, dude, like at the end of the day, men like to be with women because they're beauty objects, and women like to be with men because they're success objects. Like it boils down to a distilled version of that. So if guys are orbiting around a woman and they're giving them attention, it's because they're generally doing it for the hopes of being intimate with them. Whereas, women, on the other hand, I think they're a little more oblivious to it for the most part, and they're probably just looking to one, seek attention, but two, they also like to have the orbiting backup plans close by. Like every single woman, every single woman that's watching this right now, I guarantee has a backup plan, whether it's some gay guy that she had a conversation with. Well, if it doesn't work out, we're not married by 35 years old, then why don't we just hook up and make a baby together or some shit like that? They've always got some kind of backup plan lined up somewhere, whether or not it's been announced to the other person or not. It's something that's going on in their head, right? It's just statistical.
Yeah.
Well, and the backup plan, there's a couple thoughts here. One is that the backup plan doesn't always involve a specific man. The research that I've seen on this, the backup plan, women being more driven by existential anxiety than men being more driven by immediate environmental anxiety. The backup plan sometimes for somebody who's happily in a relationship, a woman who's happily in a relationship, just has to do with how would I handle finances? Where would I meet somebody new? That's the sort of stuff that sort of rattles around in the back of a woman who's happy in her relationship. Somebody who's a little less happy or a little more restless, yeah, they may have a more specific plan, and they may be actually scoping out the guys in their environment. But as far as what I think you were talking earlier about what women look like when they're cheating, if you imagine a Venn diagram, and I've seen a lot of cheating in my practice, a Venn diagram of what men look like, the behaviors that they display when they're cheating, and what women look like, their specific behaviors when they're cheating, there's going to be a lot of overlap, because at the heart of it is just secretive behavior. And people, men and women, can be very, very sneaky. And so secretive behavior. Men and women may approach that a little bit differently. I think women, from what I have seen, are a little bit more coy when they're approaching the cheating relationships, and I think you touched on a good one, but they'll start complaining about their situation and seeing if they can elicit a little bit of sympathy, and that it's a sympathy game. Men are more, I'll go out and I'll hit a website and see what I can round up there, just more direct.
Like
so where could I find like a link to like this Venn diagram of like that, behavior? Like, could you send a link or something to that?
No, it's in my head. Secretive behavior among men and women is more similar than different.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I would really appreciate the thoughts and everything. I really appreciate it.
All right, dude. Thanks,
Bet, man.
Okay.
Thanks.
Guest call in line 323-642-1618. We got a caller here, 503. Let's see what's up with him. All right, 503, what's up?
Yo, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Man, I love what you guys are doing. I think you guys are probably the best Red Series group. It's like Dr. Sean, you have kind of a less, I'd say, direct view on the red pill and all this stuff. And Rich, man, you're like just pure Vulcan logic. So the two of you guys together is just absolutely great, man.
Vulcan logic.
Right on, man. Live long and prosper. Thanks, man.
Go ahead. Yeah. So do you have a question or?
That's right. Yeah, man. My question is, I've been calling you guys a lot, but I've been doing these shows. It's like DJ stuff. It's going all really good, man. But I'm kind of worried about like getting me too'd. You know, I guess my worry is just that like I'm gonna be banging a bunch of chicks and like it's kind of gonna ruin my reputation or whatever because people are gonna talk. And I know it's bad, like how you guys say the shit where you eat and stuff. So is there any advice on like kind of, I mean, having your fun, doing your thing without, you know, a bunch of girls going around bad talking you?
So you're a DJ. You're doing the circuit. You're getting all the attention because you got pre-selection. They obviously want to be with you. And what's happening? Why do you think that you're going to get Me Too'd?
Well, because I gotten Me Too'd in the past, man, and it was pretty much doing the same thing. It's pretty fucking serious, man. I got a lot of places stopped booking me and stuff. It was kind of a BPD-X situation, you know, so I do kind of feel like that kind of scarred me, and I worry about that happening a lot again.
Well, I don't think you can ever isolate yourself from being Me Too'd. I mean, the only real way to do it is to follow the MGTOW lifestyle and just not engage with women. But you don't really have that option if you're a DJ and you've got pre-selection and they're throwing themselves at you, right? So you just have to make better choices about who you decide to spend time with and try to avoid or spot the crazy ones early on. But the problem is those are usually the most attractive ones to you. What do you think, Sean?
Okay.
Do you have any advice for DJ?
Yeah, they are the most attractive ones, the crazy ones. But yeah, my advice is if you've got women throwing themselves at you, you're going to have to put the brakes on them. Really, you're going to have to, if that little voice in your head is saying, this is starting to feel a little dangerous, listen to that voice. We spent a lot of time last week talking about intuition and the guy 10,000 years ago who got ate by a lion because he should have listened to his intuition, but the sex was too good. And my advice to you is you put the brakes on these relationships and you vet them for a couple of months before you sleep with them. And maybe that means you go without for a little while, but the alternative is you start ignoring your intuition, and that's never a good strategy.
So I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not entirely sure that vetting them for a few months is practical in the line of work that you do. So my recommendation would be to definitely document or do not delete texts. Make sure that if she's making advances.
Yeah, I've been doing that, man. I just screenshot
back.
like a message, doing like just something that says like, hey, had fun. And, you know, she'll send like, oh, me too, you know, and then I'll screenshot it and email that to myself.
Yeah, just make sure it's not hashtag Me Too, dude.
So why is a couple of months of vetting not doable?
I don't think it's practical, based on his line of work, because he's talking about being a DJ. Women are obviously going to throw themselves at him throughout the night. Like this is hookup culture. Sort of.
Wait a minute. Wait, back up. Crazy women are going to throw themselves at him.
I'm not totally in agreement with that because, the crazy ones will definitely be more aggressive, but I also suspect that even the average ones will just be as interested in,
Okay. Okay, so let me rephrase. So 100 women throw themselves at him in a given night. In the general population, 7% of those women have bipolar or have borderline disorder. Some larger percentage than that is in that 100 women is going to have some kind of personality disorder, some kind of anxiety, something serious going on. They're going to be drunk. They're going to be high. They're going to be personality disordered. So among that group of 100 women, that's a high risk group of women. Why is a couple of months, okay, say a few weeks of vetting, just some text messages going back and forth, a little bit of chatting, a little bit of getting a sense of what she's about?
Well,
Why is that not doable?
To do it, but DJ on the phone, can you answer that question? I mean, do you ever wait 2 weeks to, get to that point?
No, I mean, I kind of feel like a woman knows if she wants to sleep with you within the first 5 minutes, So I feel like, and with my experience anyway, like you only have one chance to get into that sexual area, and if it goes on for more than like a week, I often find that it's hard to get out of that zone. So I'd say no, I don't think that's doable.
Okay, so let me ask this question: what is the average turnaround time from the moment they're like, "Hey DJ, can you play the song?" to, you're in bed together?
Dude, to be honest with you, it's been kind of hard because my game's a little bit rusty. I just got out of a LTR, and but when I'm good, when I'm in the zone and stuff and everything's going okay, I mean, it can be it's pretty quick. But lately it's been a little bit slower, so I'd say maybe I've been getting a lot of numbers, man, but just my success rate hasn't been that good yet as far as pickup and stuff.
All right, so DJ, let me DJ on there. I know it's not your name, but let me observe what's happening in this conversation. You call in and you say, my intuition, I'm paraphrasing here, is telling me that this is getting a little risky. So I take on the voice of your intuition and I say, slow down, be careful. And you start arguing with me. Is this how you're arguing with your intuition?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point, man. Okay.
You do what you want. I mean, we all, if you walk out the front door of your house, you're taking on risk every day. So you balance the risk. You take as much as you're comfortable with. But what you started with is, I'm not comfortable with the amount of risk here. Yeah,
and I agree with what Sean's saying. I mean, putting the brakes on it would be a better thing than not, but I also understand the
problem. Okay. Have you guys ever heard of Datsick? This is kind of interesting, man. He was kind of doing the whole rock star thing, and he was sleeping with a bunch of women and stuff, but he got completely Me Too'd. A bunch of people were posting about him on Facebook, and he had to cancel his whole tour, and nobody's booking him again. You guys should look into that. It's kind of, I think there's some stuff you guys would be interested in. His name's Datsick.
S-I-C-K?
D-A-T-S-I-C-K.
Sorry, D-A-T, Datsick, S-I-C-K. Me Too.
Yeah, yeah.
So just to add to that,
man.
Okay, Me Too.
It's a devastating hit.
Yeah, you don't want to put yourself in a position where you can't work, right? And it's like anybody that's a performer has pre-selection immediately. You're up on a stage, everybody's shouting, dancing, singing, waving their arms frantically. Women want to be with you, men want to be you. So you're going to have to fight them off with a stick in that sort of environment. But at the same time, I think the thing that pushes many women to the Me Too response mechanism is regret. Maybe if you were disrespectful, maybe if they felt, there's any number of reasons really at the end of the day. So the best answer really is put some time and space between you and the event, like Sean says. I'm going to side with Sean on this. I'm going to shut the hell up and just going to say Sean's right.
Gotcha.
All right. And so maybe my 2 months was too far out. I don't know. If you're just looking to get laid, I guess 2 months is a long time. But yeah, I hear you saying that you need to slow things down.
Give it 2 days, minimum.
2 days.
Get the number and give it 2 days. At least, have a cooling off period, a little bit of a cooling off period. So it's not like, oh, he took advantage of me because I was drunk in the club that night, or somebody slipped something into my drink. At least, preferably not the same night.
Actually, Rich, that's an interesting way to approach it. If we were to identify what are the major sources of false accusations, it would probably, I bet we could come up with a list, and we would probably be able to isolate some of them as being very immediate risk, like what you just said, somebody claiming that they were drunk or that they were drugged or something.
Yeah, definitely. And women in those environments are not going to take responsibility. In fact, it's easier for them to point and sputter and blame you as a DJ because you're the man and you're bigger and you're in a position of authority and he took advantage of me, sort of thing, right? So I think a cooling off period is probably a practical set of advice, although I understand that, 2 o'clock in the morning, right place, right time, the right lighting. She's hot, you're ready to go. The bathroom's empty, and off you go, sort of thing. Like, but if you don't want to get me too, have a cooling off period and make sure you keep record of all the conversation. I mean, that's really the best thing I think you can do. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All right, man. We'll catch up with you on the next one. All right.
Sounds good, brother. Thanks a lot, man.
Peace.
Take care.
All right. We got a couple super chats that popped in as we were talking to our DJ. Hey, Mr. DJ. All right, here we go. KEV, thanks for the super chat. It says intake on work relationships and breakups afterwards. Intake? I'm not sure what he means by that. Does that make any sense to you?
No. Intake on. Yeah, I don't get it.
All right. Well, we're just going to say thank you for the super chat then. And Lauren B. Lawrence is so good. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. Again, guys, YouTube is demonetizing all of these before the train wrecks now. So if you've enjoyed the series, consider joining. There's a membership button by the subscribe button. You pledge $4.99 a month. It's peanuts. It really helps out with the show. Or if you have a question or you just want to make a super chat donation, it's always appreciated. At Har, you've joined us. How are you? You want to unmute yourself? Did you have a question? I'm not sure if I pronounced your name right. You're muted still.
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah,
There
I
you
just
go.
started waiting, but my kids are at the back, so I have to go to a quiet area where it's where they don't talk.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. So did you have a question or something you wanted to ask?
No. I just wanted to join into the chat as my first time I'm joining this, so just thought I'd just see what's going on.
No problem. So just a heads up, when you click the join link that I put in the community chat, it's to ask questions, so not to hang out and just watch. So I'm going to, I'm going to let you go from the hangout area. So thanks for hopping on for that brief moment, though, but let you go in a sec. I post the join link in my men's community in a private chat in case they want to hop on and get ahead of the line, a little bit of a VIP access. Some people don't always read the instructions though before they click it. So we got 865 here is up next. Let's grab him or her. So 865, you're on. How you doing?
Hey, Richard.
How you doing, man?
Doing fine. I've got one for you all. First of all, I want to say love your show.
Thank you.
You've literally saved my life, man. Can also say that, and you too, Doc.
Hey, thanks, man.
I've been seeing a girl, and I actually met her on the Seeking website, and that's a whole other story, but we've been kicking it for about 4 months. We do not live together, but we spend a heck of a lot of time together. It's kind of like we just connected instantly. I was pulling the Salt Daddy role, a la Anthony Johnson, and just kind of connected with this chick. So anyway, she's got a shit ton of guy friends, like a lot of guy friends. And it never really was concerned because we were just kind of doing it on a very informal level. And then we obviously started, getting deeper into our, whatever you want to call it, relationship with a small R. And her roommate, who was female, moved out. And she moved in immediately a single guy who is heterosexual, and I would call him attractive, in his mid-20s. She's in her mid-20s. I'm 43. And I wanted to get, and I broke up with her today. I told her, I said, it's unacceptable. It's against my constitution. Too many red flags. I used your line, Rich. More red flags than a Chinese parade. And went down a long list of red flags. I didn't go, well, we met on Speaking after all. What the hell do you expect? I'll probably hear that from you all, which I'm fine with. Please be critical all you want. But I know I made the right decision, and I just wanted to get y'all's feedback as to when you meet a girl and she just has nothing but guy friends. Now, let me say this too. She's kind of a geek. She likes Dungeons and Dragons. She likes Game of Thrones. She likes Harry Potter, all that stuff, which is stuff that guys typically are into. So the nerdy guys that she hangs with, yeah, they have no game. They can't make a move on her, but they all want to. They do. I mean, she's a very attractive woman. So anyway, just I'll stay on. I just would love to hear y'all's feedback.
I'm not sure where to start. You met a sugar baby, and you had something going on. She moved in a dude. So where do you want to start with this? I mean, she doesn't make good choices to begin with. She's basically acting like a prostitute. Where do you want to go from?
Okay, fair enough. I just didn't know if the whole. the subject of tonight's show is women with many male friends, and I kind of tuned in a little late, but yeah, I'm just curious, like when a woman, whether she's on a seeking platform or not,
got it.
has a lot of guy friends.
Yeah, but I mean, like, here's the thing, though. It's like you're sitting at a stoplight and the light is red, and then your engine dies and the car's no longer running. Is the problem the light that now just turned green and people honking behind you, or the fact that your engine's dead? Like, you're missing the fact that this chick is on seeking arrangements and she's a prostitute, right? Like, who cares? Who cares if she moves a guy in? All that stuff doesn't even matter if you can't get the car running. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I follow you.
Like there's no point in proceeding to that red flag if you've got a bigger problem that you're dealing with, right? Like, one of the things that I talk to people about in my debt business is people make a big deal out of their credit rating. It's like, excuse me, like, oh, my credit rating is so good and all this blah, blah, blah sort of stuff. But if you got 50 grand in credit card debt that you can't service and you've been paying it for like the last 4 years and it hasn't moved the balance at all, it's like complaining that the fire department is destroying your prized rose garden while your house burns down. The house burning down is a bigger problem, right? Like, the house is the debt problem, whereas the rose garden is like a credit problem. So, to your point, it's like, who cares how many guy friends she has? She's a plate, and that's all she is to you, right? Like, she's a FB. She's a friends with benefits, really, right?
Yeah, that's what she has been, too. Let me say this. I mean, we're not in any type of relationship. There's no talk of anything long-term. But it's just annoying. You have this constitution. I've been developing it since I've been red-pilled, more so now than ever before in my life. And I want to stick with that internal just constitution. I don't want to fray from that. Yeah. And so yeah, I mean, I just ended it, today. Just told her, like, this is over. This is done. I can't do this anymore. Yeah. It violates me.
Yeah. As long as you keep her on plate status and she doesn't get promoted to an LTR, like, you don't want to make a hoe out of it, or a housewife out of a hoe. You know what the saying is. You know what I'm saying? But, like, the relationship dynamic is contained as an FB, and you leave it at that. So, I mean, the fact that she moves a guy in, it shouldn't even cross your mind as oh, this is a red flag, I should be concerned about this. It's like, there's already, like, the entire Chinese Communist parade is already marching through town. Like, it's already happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to point out to you all is that when a woman does move in a guy like that, even though they're platonic, they're still sharing something. I think Doc can probably chime in on this. They're sharing a bit of spirituality. They're a small 2-bedroom house with 1 bathroom. There's a lot of sharing intimacy going on, whether it's sexual or not, which can even be even more powerful than a sexual relationship, which really would bother me, whether or not she's on that seeking platform or not. Any woman has a single heterosexual guy friend as a roommate. Bad idea, correct?
Well, what do you notice about the dynamics of the relationship she brings in? She uses men to take care of her financially. She uses men to pay half the rent. I mean, how much further down this one do you want to go?
Hey, no question. But the funniest thing, the other day when she lost her job and she was feeling very desperate, she felt like she had no direction, no compass in life. And I told her, I said, you need a man. And she said, no, I need a baby. Mm-hmm. I want a baby.
Oh boy. Yeah, run, Forrest, run.
I have. All right, guys, love you. I'll tune in. I'll keep tuning in.
Thanks, man.
All right. Lines are opened up. Cool. So call in is 323-642-1618. Did you have any other thoughts on that sugar baby Fred roommate?
Yeah, you touched on it. It's that it's hard to know what issue to focus on. I didn't go to law school, but I understand from lawyers that in law school they study this thing called issue spotting, which is how do you know what to focus on? And that's something that in my profession we're supposed to be good at is know what to focus on. And you focus on the right thing, like the roommates and the Dungeons and Dragons. This is all peripheral stuff. It's very attractive intellectually. It's easy to get locked in on that stuff, but it's not the issue. The issue is she's an escort. All right, so that's what she is. That's what she chooses. Maybe someday she won't be an escort, but right now she is. That's the issue.
Yep. Shout out to Joshua. Thanks for the super chat, my man. He says, loved your book, Sean. This is Sean's book, The Tactical Guide to Women. I think now is a good opportunity to plug it. I'll post a link in the chat in a second, but you can grab this off Amazon. It's an excellent read. I highly recommend it. It's on my recommended reading list for all men. me grab the link and I'll post it there while I am chatting. And welcome new member. Overthought and Understated is the name. So if you click that join button over by the subscribe button, you can become a member of the channel. It gives you a little green highlighted name, easier to spot your questions, and it also allows you to contribute like $5 a month to the channel, which helps us out running these shows. There's another super chat here. Where was it? Hey, it's Tony, T21 Surfer. That's George Bruno's brother. Thanks.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I think I've met Tony. Hey, Tony.
Yeah, Tony's a good guy. I really like him. All right. So here is Sean's link to his book. Grab that off Amazon. And call-in line again is 323-642-1618. Looks like we got somebody from across the pond on. All right. You're on. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello.
I think so. Can you?
Yep.
Hey, yeah, great show. Really good callers, good topics and everything. About the guy who's a DJ, I just thought maybe it's best, like, if you want something that's kind of short term for the night, rather than kind of looking at the girls that are in the show, maybe you can meet a girl, like invite a girl from Tinder, maybe, like, because maybe that girl can come to the show and kind of see his like SMV, and it's a bit safer because you can chat a bit more beforehand as opposed to just like meeting a girl randomly that night. You can kind of build up to it. So is that a good strategy or not? Is that a bit too?
So what the caller's saying is invite your Tinder date to your event so she can see you perform and basically have all the girls, you know, pining over him, which is a pretty good strategy. I mean, you know, if she's willing to come out to something like that and wants to spend the night watching an event, why not? I mean, that would work. I don't see why not.
That's cool. That's what I have to say. But good show, guys. I'm going to donate and join your own group as soon as possible. So thank you for the show.
Thanks, man. Appreciate the donation. All right.
I don't have much to offer on calls like that because I'm not a get laid coach. I'm a don't screw up your life coach. But yeah, it's an interesting strategy. And I guess I'm a little worried that I'm coming across as some kind of social conservative tonight, which I'm not. Like when I was talking about waiting, that's just a practical concern, just listening to your intuition. Like the making arrangements websites, I'm all for it. If it's a consensual relationship and it's working out on both ends, hey, knock yourself out. I got no problems with any of that.
Yeah. I'm not opposed to it. It's just don't start asking questions about, is it a red flag because she has a male roommate? It's like, dude, the first thing, she's a prostitute.
Yes, that's a red flag.
Like if you have an arrangement, that's a red flag, right? You know, it's like, you know, the car's stuck at the intersection. It's not running. The engine's dead. You don't have to worry about the light turning green or red or yellow. It's not significant.
Right.
Guest call in number 323-642-1618. It's up here over my shoulder. Also, if you want to join the text to win list, I'm giving away a free 1-hour coaching session. All you have to do is text EIC to 40691. I'm getting better at doing this backwards. Okay, let's see what we got here. Lines are open. Wow, we had like 6 callers at one time, but lines are completely open. So guys, if you have questions, we'll be on for another, 22 minutes? Yeah, we're doing a 90-minute show always on Before the Train Wreck. So we'll be on for another 22 minutes. You want to hop on. Again, 323-642-1618. Let that fill up. Let me see if there's anything here in the chat. Do we got any questions in the chat, Sean?
Yeah, I'm scrolling through it. I'm not seeing it right now. There's got to be something in there.
Somebody said earlier to make sure that I hit that super chat question, but I didn't see a super chat question. Tony's was the last one, and then there was one before that from Josh. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it didn't come up as a super chat. Let's see if we've got any calls on here. Switching over. Nope. Wow. That is an unusual thing. Last week we had 2 women that called in and about 8 lined up. Oh, there they go. They're starting to pile in now.
I was thinking Prince Harry would call in tonight, but so far, no luck.
Yeah. Well, next time I see a number from across the pond, I'll just answer. I'll say, Harry, is that you? All right. 623, you're on.
Yeah, good evening, guys.
How you doing?
Oh, great. Hey, first off, thank you for kind of introducing me to the red pill, Rich. If it wasn't for you and your going through divorce, recommendations and assistance, I wouldn't ran across
Yep.
all the other guys in the crew. And I just got the doc's book. I'm going to start that here soon.
Thanks,
But
man.
question pertaining to the topic of tonight. Yeah, thanks, Doc. I mean, I love listening to you guys on Mondays too. I try to catch you as much as I can. You guys are dead on. So I got this girlfriend. I am divorced, but I got a girlfriend now. And I'm trying to be a lot more careful. Obviously, knowing what I know now. She's a good girl, single mom, very hardworking. I'm a single dad. And, you know, kids get along great and everything like that. But one of the things that comes up sometimes is she's a nurse and she works a lot, obviously crazy hours. And I work a lot too. But I listen to you guys and then I hear, hey, you know, girls' night out is a red flag or whatever. And I know to a certain extent, you know, what I'm trying to ask is, how do you vet? Because most of her friends that work with her or coworkers are all female, kind of a female-dominated industry. But how do I get to know, or should I get to know her friends more? I mean, I ask her,
Yes.
you know, hey, you know, oh, is she a single mom? Oh, yeah. You know, most of her friends that I can tell are usually married, have been married for a while, or single moms, and they're all educated because obviously they're all nurses. And they're in a very stressful, emotional climate. And what I'm trying to say is, how do you vet also female friends? You know, because I've asked her, hey, you know, are any of them like party girls or anything like that? Because the question will bound to come up is like, hey, you know, some of my girlfriends want to get together or so, and then I want to know how to approach that.
Well,
I think you're asking the right question. And yes, you should get into her circle if you're considering her. And I know that Rich is probably going to have some thoughts on the single parent situation. But yeah, if you're considering her, then you want to get into her circle. You want to know her friends and her family and just have fun with them. Like next time they're going out or next time they're not going out, you just say, hey, I want to go out with you guys. I want to meet your friends. I want to have some fun with this.
how long have you been dating her?
4 months. Well, official 4 months.
Ooh, well,
We dated a couple of months prior to that where I was dating other girls too.
Yeah.
But we kind of just made it official because I got tired of a lot of the women out there. If they were single moms, they were too dramatic. If they weren't, they still had other stuff that, you know, they wanted to be moms. And I was like, no, you know, I got a young son. So I'm really diving into the red pill stuff because I want to raise my boy, you know, to be strong and virtuous. And for the most part, she's very feminine. That's a good thing. I know she's a single mom, but she's very feminine. She's very respectful towards me. And, you know, I don't want to say submissive, but in a way, she knows that respect and honor for me are very important.
So, like, I want to get to what the red flags are in a moment, but just as a side note, I mean, you can't go back in a time machine and change this, but generally speaking, you shouldn't be introducing, you know, your kids to anybody else or anybody else's kids within 4 months of, you know, becoming exclusive. You want to give it at least probably 8 months or so. But what are the red flags that you're spotting here? Like, is it you just kind of want to vet her friends? Is that what you're asking?
Well, it's not so much red flags because, I mean, listening to you guys, I know I hear different versions and different levels of red flags. One being, say, tattoos. One being saying male friends and things like that, or girls' night out. And I'm trying to gain perspective because listening to your guys' group, everybody from the Red Man group to you guys, you know, to Rolo and Pat and everybody, there's different levels that I get a sense. And I know it's not uniform, but for example, she's got like, say one red flag that would be a red flag to some guys compared to others in the group. Say a tattoo. She has a tattoo, you know, on her shoulder. Mm-hmm. It's small. She can hide it and everything. She got it when she was really young. She is younger than me, but it's not anything crazy. It's a flower, you know, pretty typical for a girl.
Okay, I mean, one tattoo is not that big of a deal. So what are the other red flags that you're picking up on?
Well, I guess in a way, by default, it seems I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, she's a unicorn, because I know you guys are going to laugh, and I don't want to get into that mindset neither, but she's very, like, she's good to me in a way. And I guess it's probably because I'm not used to it from the girls that I was dating. I was definitely not used to it from my ex-wife, but she's very good. Like, she's supportive, you know.
Let me slow you down here. Let me jump in here for a minute, because I hear you locking in on some surface level issues, and they sound like they're nice. You know, she sounds like she's a nice girl. There's some more fundamental issues you need to be looking for, having to do with her reliability, her your shared values, her ability to communicate, shared values. That's such an important one. But maturity, stability, rationality, you need to be looking at these personality traits. And this is one of the reasons you do want to get in with her circle of friends, because if you can see how they conduct themselves, how they take care of themselves, how they communicate, how they treat each other, how she treats her family, then you get a much deeper understanding of her than just what kind of tattoo she has and she's nice to me. And you know, this is the kind of stuff that gets guys into trouble when a woman starts not to be manipulative, but just start saying the things that he wants to hear and doing the things that he wants her to do. And it feels really good. And you start ignoring these deeper issues that become deeper issues down the road. And neither one of you might not be seeing them right now. So how long you been dating?
4 months.
4 months. Yeah, man, you're just at the beginning here.
4 months.
Yeah. So you got all kinds of time. You need to slow this down. Look for the deeper issues.
Yeah, like what you want to look for is she invites you over for dinner, like a dinner party. Her friends are there, or her friends' kids are there, or whatever. Just watch. You know what I mean? Like observe. You know, you're going to go on recon work. You're just going to watch how they interact, the sorts of things they talk about, how their kids behave. You know, you're just going to do some recon work and see what's going on. You start to collect some data points. That's really what part of the vetting process really is. But like Sean said, like slow it down. Like you're starting to say things like, you know, well, she treats me really good. Well, she should be treating you really good, dude. Like, you know, you're the prize, right? Like, if you're in a relationship with a chick and you guys have become exclusive or whatever, she should be treating you good. She shouldn't be treating you like a piece of crap. But I get that when you kind of go through a divorce and you go through the crappy period, it can almost be like, wow, this is unique. This is a unicorn. This is new. This feels good. She's doing all the crazy stuff in the bedroom that I like. She's attentive. She cooks breakfast. She makes me a coffee in the morning. I get it, dude. Anything looks good or seems like you're being treated good after you get through a crappy divorce, but give it some time to slow it down, cool, turn off the afterburners and just kind of like, cruise for a bit and see what's going on and collect some data points.
Yeah, man, you're not even going to see the real her for another year. And the real her may turn out to be just as good as what you're seeing right now, but might also be different.
Cool. Yeah. Cool story. Like, hopefully it is, right?
Yeah.
All right, dude.
All right. Awesome.
All right.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Good luck, man.
That was pretty cut and dry. Guest caller number 323-642-1618. We got a caller on. Let's hit 510 here. All right, 510.
Hello. Yes, sir. Hello.
Yep, you're on.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, I'm calling from Oakland, California, West Coast. I was dating a girl, and she had a kid, and this is the first time I've ever been in a relationship like that. So I had some issues, and I checked you up online, and kind of just searched it, and you came up, and I've been following you ever since. And all your relationship shows have been really helpful.
Cool.
And so thank you for that.
Thanks, man. So what's going on with this woman? You said she's a single mom?
Yeah, no, I was dating a woman previous about a year ago. She was a single mom, and I don't have children. I'm in my mid-30s. Was dating her just because she asked me out, and I just kind of, I've never done it before. I'm great with kids, so I was like, okay, whatever, let's give it a shot. But there are some underlying things that came up, and I went on your channel and you made some great points about, if you're kind of a needy guy, or if you're a guy who needs attention, it's not really a good relationship that's going to work out too well for you because you're not the number one in her life, And I took that to a point, and I did see that, and so unfortunately it didn't work out. But she's a great person, and I wish her the best. But I'm in a new relationship now, and yeah, we're talking about a lot of guy friends. Before I got into this relationship, I was in another relationship before that, and I was really, really, really in love with that girl and fell for her kind of hard, and it didn't work out. But this girl right here was kind of like a rebound girl, and I met her on Tinder, and ended up turning into a relationship, and kind of things, red flags.
Caller,
that
hold up.
Yes, sir.
I got to keep you on track. So what's the what's the red flag? Like, what's the situation that you're trying to vet here?
Well, when I was first talking to her, she's like, I'm going out with my friend, and I was like, okay, so what kind of friend is this, And she was just kind of like, oh, it's a guy friend. We just go out to lunch every once in a while, or dinner every once in a while. And I said, is it like a romantic interest? Is this guy having you? And no, it's just a friend, someone I go out with every once in a while. And yeah, so that to me was a little bit of a red flag before I emotionally got invested in this girl. And now emotions are invested, feelings are invested. I heard your previous conversation, and she's a woman that I'm around her. I met her family. I met her friends, and there's one friend in particular who I'm not really fond with, but the rest of her friends seem really humble and care about her well-being. And then she has another friend who's kind of a little slut, and sorry, excuse my language, but it seems like every time that she does hang out with her too as well, that she's very friendly when there's other guys around.
Well, promiscuous women are usually like that, right?
Some points that I'm seeing, but as for
so I can summarize
things that you said before,
hold
like
up,
mission makes you feel and all that. I mean, those are all spot on too as well.
Hold up now. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm talking too much here.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous.
I just want to keep it on point. So you're asking about your girl who's going out to lunch and dinners with a friend, and she says it's not romantic.
A male friend.
Yeah. Okay. So it's nothing sexual is what she's saying. Have you met the guy? Have you met this gentleman? Hello? Have you met this guy?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yeah. Have you
met this guy? No, I have not met him.
And how does she know him?
I guess he's just a friend that hangs around with a crowd of her mutual friends, and they used to, hang out a lot. They go out, they go out to dinner. Just a friend of a social friend. He's also friends with that girl I don't like as well, one of her other female friends. So they all know each other, kind of thing.
So here's what I'm hearing. Okay, so here's what I'm hearing. Right, she's got a friend that's very promiscuous, and she's going out to have meals with a guy friend, which you haven't met, you don't know, but she says she's just friends with. Does she work with this guy?
You're right.
Does she work with this guy? Like, is it Kevin from sales, or what are we dealing with here?
No, she doesn't work with them. She doesn't have any interaction with them Monday through Friday. Nothing during the work schedule. Just a social friend that she knows through her other friend and some other friends, and they hang out like a big group together.
How old are they?
Like last year, before I knew her, they would have barbecues and things like that. And she
How old are they? How old are they? How old are these girls? Like these?
She's a year older than me.
I don't know how old you are,
She's
but how old is
30,
she?
38.
38. Okay.
47. I'm sorry. Yeah, 37. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any clarifying questions,
I
Sean?
mean, she doesn't want kids.
Hold up,
she needs
hold
that
up,
established.
hold up, hold
She
up,
has a lot of virtues.
hey, hold up,
She's
hold up, hey. We're going to pass it off to Sean for a sec. Sean, do you have any clarifying questions?
Well, I guess I'm not sure what the question is here.
The question.
So main question was is that I saw these kind of flags a little bit, but then now it turned into a really serious kind of relationship. And
how long you been dating? Sorry, I missed that.
I'm sorry.
How long you been dating?
It's been about 5 months now.
How long has it been serious?
It's been serious for about 4, maybe 4 or 5 months. I mean, we were talking in December, but we weren't serious. And I mean, I knew she was talking to other people. She was a modern woman, you know. Of course, she was talking to other people, and I was coming up in a relationship and talking to other people as well. I mean, this wasn't serious until 2 months after that, and it got kind of serious. So, like November.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. So you got these concerns about her, and I guess the way I would approach it is you can use these as an opportunity to see what she's made of. You bring these concerns to her, and that gives you an opportunity to see how she communicates. What is her level of maturity? What is her level of stability? What is her level of clarity? These are the concepts I talk about in my book. So use these red flags as just a way to kind of vet her a little further. That's the best I can give you right now, because you sound like you're just a little bit lost. You're kind of all over the place with this woman. It seems like you're having trouble narrowing down what the issue is. So I would suggest the issue is you need to vet her a little bit further.
The issue is creating clarity in the conversation topics too, right? Like you want to be able to clearly communicate your thoughts, and I'm having a hard time following what it is that you're trying to talk about. But to kind of summarize it for you, she's probably either banged him or he's trying to bang her. Okay. So, I mean, like there's no good that comes out of men and women going out for lunch or dinner if you're in a relationship with this chick. I mean, if you're not exclusive, fine, whatever. Have lunch, have dinner, do whatever the hell you want. You're probably doing the same thing. Right. But it sounds to me like you care about her and you've got some valid concerns based on how you're describing some stuff. But I think more importantly than all of that, you want to get clear on how you're communicating your ideas, right? You want to be able to clearly distill what it is that you have concern over, because if you go about it this way with her, like it's just going to turn her off, dude. Like it's really going to put the brakes on things. You know what I'm saying?
Right. My thing is that she is someone who has her stuff put together. She's very successful, and she has a good standing. You know, she's a solid person. So my thing is that maybe she just wants a picture perfect kind of guy, and has a idea of him in her head. And if he doesn't really like be cool with her lifestyle or with the way that she's living, that he's replaceable. And that was basically my question. Kind of like if
you're always replaceable.
Something that's not good enough yet to be passed on. Like,
so are you worried that if you bring any of this up to her that she's going to dump you?
That's what it sounds like.
No, I mean, no, not really. I mean, I did kind of put the brakes on things.
Hold on, you're lying. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to us, dude.
So, I mean,
we can already tell. We can already tell,
okay.
Dude. Okay. You're worried because you think that she's more valuable than you are, that she's going to ditch your ass if you say something about her and her little lunch date with her boyfriend. Right?
Yeah, but I also put my foot down too, because she did have like a boyfriend X picture on her refrigerator, and I did ask her about that, and she did take that down. And that to me also showed that she does validate my feelings. So that's another thing too. So
what does she do for a living?
It's
like, what makes her so special?
It's a gray area, I guess. It's just kind of a war back and forth, and I'm just trying to like stabilize this thing. And
got it. So why do you think she's so special? What does she do for a living? Like, what's her role in the world today?
Oh, she's like runs a company. It's a cable coax cable company, and they make these cables. They go into airplanes. She basically runs the whole company herself.
Is it
She's
her
like
business?
second in command, you know.
Is it her business, or is she a partner?
I'm sorry?
Is it her business, or is she a
No,
partner?
she's just no, it's not her business. She doesn't own it, but she works directly for the owner, like underneath the owner. So she can be also very dictative and so controlling a little bit. In a way, I kind of like that, just because for my personality's sake, you know, sometimes as a single man, you get a little wild, and it's nice to have a little control, I guess, in your life. You know, stability, and for me, I like that because it makes me kind of change. But I need these changes to come from myself and not
Hey
kind
man,
of a woman. But
question for you. Question for you. Hold up. What was your relationship like?
I'm sorry.
What was your relationship like with your mom growing up, dude?
Yeah.
Did you hear the question? What was your relationship like with your mom growing up?
Oh, my mom. She was she passed away when I was real young. So did my father. So, but my relationship with my mother was very, very. I respect. You know, I came from she was a widow, pretty much. My dad died when I was 7. So, but she also was very abusive too, verbally. So, and I don't know, in a way, it made me a little mentally stronger. But also, I kind of built up a lot of over respect, I think, sometimes for women, more than I should, you know. And I'm a type of person that kind of wear my heart on my sleeve, and sometimes it could be a good trait, and sometimes it could be a trait that works against you. And I don't want to do that with this girl too much. But I also want to establish boundaries.
Got it.
With her.
Let's do this. Let's do this because we're coming up on the 90-minute mark, so we got to wind this down. So let's give this guy some kind of research or resource, Sean. What would you give him? A book to read or anything?
Well, yeah, I was actually thinking about something similar. I'm thinking that, man, you're coming at this with a lot of confusion and insecurity, and I have to think that that's coming across in the relationship too. And so, yeah, I mean, you could. I was thinking therapy. The two go and the two of you go talk about what is the nature of your relationship, because there's something going on here between the two of you that maybe you haven't talked about and you haven't sorted out, particularly the power dynamics. So yeah, what do you got to lose? She's got money. You two can go spend a few sessions with somebody and see if you can suss out what this relationship is all about. And I would also recommend Rollo's book, my book.
Yeah, read the recommended reading list I've got in the description of all my videos. Just drop down the menu. It's towards the bottom. There's some good books there that I think that you should definitely grab. I don't think I've got No More Mr. Nice Guy in there by Robert Glover, but that's another good one that you might want to check out.
For sure.
Yeah, you got some things you got to work on there, man. Like it's beyond just her having lunch with a dude. There's some difficulty in the way that you're communicating the ideas, and I don't know what it is, but that's not what we've got a ton of time right now to kind of dive into. But I want to at least leave you with something before we wrap up. Cool.
Right on.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. All right, let's let that call go. All right, so we're done for the show. Apologize, everybody else that's in queue. I'm going to let you go, but call in next week, and we'll try to catch your question then. Closing thought. Oh, there's a super chat there. Khalid Kid said, in 2 straight months with Danger Zone Crazy Girl who wants LTR, do I bail or continue to be aware and enjoy the crazy sex while becoming more red pill aware? That's, you know, you like jumping out of airplanes with parachutes. You know, Sean's got this thing about, you know, people that like danger and risk. And there's a time and place for it, I think, right? So
yeah, I'm a person that likes danger and risk, and there's a time and place. You got to learn to rein that stuff in before it reins you in.
Yeah, because when it reins you in, it can rein you in pretty badly, man. So you want to be careful with that. But thank you for the super chat. Let's see if there's anything else in here real quick. All right, we're good. Another good 90-minute show, Sean. Quickly before we go, just last things. There's a bunch of people watching. Hit the like button, please. It really helps me out a ton. Lets YouTube know that you guys value this content. Also, if you want to consider joining the membership, there's a join button over by the subscribe button. Again, YouTube is demonetizing all of these before the train wrecks for some reason. I don't know if the algorithms are just, not liking us right now. Maybe it'll change. But if you've enjoyed the show, consider that. Sean, any closing thoughts? I linked your book already, so people know where to find that. Again, it's in the chat comments. The Tactical Guide to Women. Consider grabbing a copy. Sean's got a lot of good books actually on Amazon right now.
Well, thanks. And the question that I'm walking away with, maybe we can revisit this at some point, Rich, is when you got a guy, there's a lot of guys tonight, when you got a guy that is struggling with knowing what issue to zero in on, what are some guidelines for helping with that? Because you're really good at that. And I've gotten fairly good at it, but I don't know how to quantify it.
I mean, it's difficult to do on the air, especially when I have some problems with the mic, interrupting what he's saying for some reason. I know some people recognize that, but I just get right in their face and it's like, okay, let's get clear on what the problem is and what you're stuck on. Another really good question to ask, which I didn't get an opportunity to, is if I could produce a magic wand and wave it right now and it would solve your problem, what would that look like?
Yeah.
Right. Because that'll get you right down to the nitty gritty. So we'll get better at that, on the future calls, but we're going to get that from time to time. It's a live call-in show. We don't have a screening system or anything like this. It's just Sean and I kind of getting together, trying to help you guys out. You'll hear pitches to books or programs or courses or communities. Consider them if you enjoy what we do. And it is what it is, man. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Rich.
So are you around next Monday?
Yep, let's do it. You going to be around?
Yeah, always. That's the 6th of May. So look out for the next episode, May 6th, same place, same time, same call-in number. It's there. And if you want to get on the text to win list, text EIC to 40691. I'm giving away a 1-hour coaching session for free if you get on that list. There'll also be a consolidation prize for a couple other people. I'll probably give you a discount to my men's community. Men's community is linked in the comments. Consider joining if you're a dude and you're serious about becoming a better version of yourself and you're willing to do the work. Thanks for watching today. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.